How's it guys, Dominic Young here from rcSurfer. This video I just want to demonstrate to you how best to grease up the stuffing tube to prevent water and moisture coming up the drive shaft. Simply what we need, two spanners. In this case here we need a 9mm and 10mm. I'm sure there'll be an imperial equivalent for the coupling to be loosened. If you have one of the aluminium grub screw couplers, you really just need your correct size grub screw. Loosen up this coupler, loosen that up, turn the board upside down. We're just going to draw our drive shaft out, and with that comes our little bush. This is our drive shaft bush. We can just slide that off. See, there's still some grease residue. You notice this is our drive shaft bush. It's got a flared end. We can carefully replace that bush back into the drive shaft housing, push that in, wipe off our drive shaft itself in case there's any fine sand or whatever on it, and just with the use of a basic syringe with a red rubber grease, you can use most any general purpose grease. I like red rubber grease. It's got a nice viscosity. It's not too heavy, not too thin. Under temperature it kind of gets quite fluid and liquid. So we just take that, put the syringe nozzle in, and just even half a milliliter is more than adequate. And what I do on the drive shaft itself is just put a little bit of grease, not too much, no point in over greasing it, it's just all going to come oozing out the other side. Just rub that onto the drive shaft. Place that in, and what we want to do is a little piece of tissue cloth, block the end of the stuffing tube, and really just slowly pump the drive shaft in the stuffing tube backwards and forwards progressively, going deeper and deeper into the stuffing tube. So we're working the grease around the actual drive shaft all the way up the stuffing tube. A little bit of a messy job. Someone's going to do it, and you'll see the drive shaft popping out this end over here. Just try and clean up the excess grease. Let me just push it forward into the coupler. Wipe up any excess grease. Make sure it's just going to spray around everywhere. Nip up the coupler. That's our drive shaft greased. We do that before every session. You're not going to have a problem with water coming up the stuffing tube. Always a good idea just to test things. Our drive shaft nicely greased, nice and smooth, and ready for the next surf session. Right, so if we look closely at part of the design in our pod, where we have our aluminium battery platform for our battery to rest on, is where the drive shaft stuffing tube passes through. We have quite a big hole here, so any moisture that comes up the stuffing tube will, because of sort of centrifugal force of the board going backwards, the water will be driven back through that hole. And in the back here we have a sponge catchment. So this is a well area which we place these sponges into, and all you have to do on each battery change is really just take your sponges out, just give them a little squeeze. If there's any moisture in it, they'll trap most of this moisture that's present in the board, if you do happen to have some coming up the stuffing tube. But that's really our second backup for retaining moisture from moving around inside the housing area. Not to mention that everything like the ESC, the server and the receiver are also well sealed to prevent that. So that's just something worth mentioning, and something that you need to be aware of and continue to maintain as you do out your battery changes for every serve session.